Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to Autosclerosis Part 2. Here we will talk about the investigations for a patient suspecting to have autosclerosis. And as the presenting symptom is progressive bilateral hearing loss, so mainstay of investigation is audiological assessment, and there we have got pure tone audiometry, and we will go for impedance audiometry, in which there is tympanometry and acoustic reflexes. In pure tone audiometry, it characterizes the severity of the disease and it is frequency specific. To start with, in initial stages of the disease, the low frequencies are involved, and as you can see in the graph on the left side, that air conduction in the lower frequencies is involved, while higher frequencies are normal. Bone conduction is normal. On the left side, the hearing is okay. On the right side, this is the involvement. So this is a rising airline due to the stapes fixation. As the disease progresses, the airline flattens now. So all the frequencies are involved in air conduction. In case of cochlear autosclerosis, which is though very rare in isolation, there is what we call as cookie bite pattern, in which there will be mixed hearing loss due to the involvement of the middle frequencies. So middle frequencies are involved, so there the loss will be more as compared to low and higher frequencies in case of cochlear autosclerosis. Now, this is the hallmark of autosclerosis, which we call as Carhart's notch, and this is the in the bone conduction of the patient, because air conduction of course is involved, and with the severe disease all the frequencies are involved, but bone conduction is normal, but there will be some change of thresholds for bone conduction, which will be 5 decibel at 500, 10 decibel at 1000 hertz, but it will be 15 decibel at 2000 hertz and again 5 decibel at 4000 hertz. So resulting in a notch at 2000 hertz, and this is the hallmark of autosclerosis. So here you see that this is the air conduction in the right ear, all the frequencies are involved. This bone conduction, you see, gradually the bone conduction thresholds are increasing, and maximum is there at this 2000 hertz bone conduction, and then again the threshold is getting better in higher frequencies. So this dip at 2000 hertz, this is what it is called Carhart's notch, and this is pathognomonic of autosclerosis. Speech audiometry, as we can expect that in conductive type of hearing loss, speech audiometry will be normal until the cochlea is involved, and then speech audiometry will be disturbed. This Carhart's notch, why it is there? They say that due to stapes fixation, the normal ossicular resonance, which is maximum at 2000 hertz, is disrupted. So that's why the threshold for bone conduction at 2000 hertz increases, and due to that increase there is a dip. That's what we label as Carhart's notch. Secondly, normal compressional mode of bone conduction is disturbed because of relative perilymph immobility. Then some mechanical artifact due to the foot plate of stapes fixation may be there, and this process can be reversed with stapes mobilization, which is the surgical treatment for atosclerosis. Then tympanometry. In tympanometry, we know that there are different tympanograms or graphs. Type A is normal, type AS and type AD. Then type B is flat curve, which is usually seen in otitis media with effusion. And type C is high compliance on the negative side, which is seen in eustachial tube dysfunction. So on pure tone audiometry, for example, if there is a conductive type of hearing loss, of course, and there is a tie, we are not sure whether it is due to otitis media with effusion or it is due to atosclerosis, we will go for tympanogram. If it is otitis media with effusion, the tympanogram will differentiate it by type B graph in case of otitis media with effusion, while in case of atosclerosis there will be a graph of lower compliance or shallow graph, which we call as AS. This A graph is normal, and this is a compliance is less in case of foot plate of stapes fixation, so this is AS. While in case of ossicular chain mobility or discontinuity, the graph is AD. As you can see here, that compliance could not be reached, so this is what it is called, type AD. So in case of atosclerosis, on pure tone audiometry, conductive type of hearing loss with Carhart's notch, and on tympanogram there will be type AS tympanogram. Acoustic reflex, as we know, whenever there is a loud sound, stapedial muscle contracts, and that contraction leads to the fixation of foot plate of stapes, so that extra noise or loud noise is not transmitted to inner ear fluid, so that there is no chance of damage to the inner ear or the vestibulocochlear nerve. But if foot plate of stapes is already fixed, of course there will be no stapedial reflex. So there will be change in compliance due to stapedius muscle contraction, stiffening of the ossicular chain, which reduces the sound transmission to the vestibule. This is the normal phenomena. But in case of foot plate of stapes fixation, there will be no or absent this stapedial reflex. To start with, when the disease is at initial stages, there may be on-off effect, which can lead to biphasic reflex pattern. And as the disease progresses, there will be reduced reflex amplitude or elevation of ipsilateral thresholds or elevation of contralateral thresholds, because whenever the sound is being played in one ear, it is a conjoint reflex, so that on the other ear also there is a stapedial reflex contraction. So there may be elevation of contralateral thresholds, and ultimately there will be a absence of reflexes. So this is according to the severity of the disease. To start with, there will be a biphasic pattern, and in severe cases there will be complete absence of this stapedial reflex. So this is the diagrammatic representation. In fixed or absent, you see there is no change at all, because foot plate of stapes is fixed in severe cases and no sound is being transmitted to the inner ear. Then CT scan of the temporal bone, it tells us the extent of the atosclerosis, severe or profound mixed hearing loss, and it evaluates for enlarged cochlear aqueduct. Post-operatively also it is very helpful, especially if there is recurrent conductive type of hearing loss, to see whether there is re-obliteration of the foot plate of the stapes, or the prosthesis which we have put it there for the transmission of the sounds, as we will discuss in the treatment of the disease, that that prosthesis has been dislocated or not. And especially if vertigo is there, we have to look for the inner ear anatomy. So CT scan is helpful preoperatively as well as postoperatively. It shows us subtle areas of demineralization, and in case of cochlear involvement, it shows us what we call as double ring sign. And MRI is done for patients with unusual presentations, especially if congenital anomalies of the cochlea are suspected, or we have to exclude retrocochlear pathology like acoustic neuroma, then we should go for MRI. This is the radiological classification of Vallon. According to it, this is type 1A when there is isolated thickening of foot plate hypodensity. If this fenestral hypodensity is less than 1 millimeter, this is 1B. Type 2 is when hypodensity is more than 1 mm. Type 3 is when it is extending to the end ostium of the cochlea. Type 4A when it is extending to the middle layer of the aortic capsule, and type 4B is when entire aortic capsule is involved, all the three layers of the aortic capsule, that is endosteal, endochondral and periosteal, including the vestibule and semicircular canals also. So this is the radiological classification. So the natural history, now you can very well imagine that the 90% of all the cases they will never present clinically. Only 10% of the patients they present clinically. These foci of atosclerosis, they start during childhood, but they manifest themselves in adult age, especially in the third and fourth decades. Conductive type of hearing loss bilaterally, which is progressive with periods of quiescence and deterioration, especially in females during pregnancy. The hearing loss worsens, and along with that there can be a very disabling irritating tinnitus, and very rarely pure sensory neural hearing loss. Otherwise usually it is a mixed type of hearing loss in some cases, and it matures by the age of 50 to 70 years with maximum conductive hearing loss of 50 decibel. In the differential diagnosis, we have to keep in mind other bony diseases and other ossicular chain abnormalities like ossicular discontinuity due to some other disease process or due to trauma. Congenital stapes fixation should be differentiated from this autosclerosis. Malleus head fixation, then Paget's disease, osteogenesis imperfecta, which can be as a part of Van der Hoef syndrome, in which there is osteogenesis imperfecta along with autosclerosis and blue sclera, or osteogenesis imperfecta in the differential diagnosis where there are long bone fractures. In those patients, long bones, these are very brittle and fragile. So with that, we come to the end of today's talk, and in next sitting we will discuss the treatment of autosclerosis. Thank you very much.